welcome back to Jersey Yogalicious, another episode of On the Mat. My name is Kat and I am a Nesta Sports Certified Yoga Instructor. And we've taken off on a book review on the writings based upon the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, working on a book demystifying the Yoga Sutras. And this is written regarding what we believe to be an explanation of what Patanjali wants us to know about the Yoga Sutras. And Yogananda took this upon himself to write this for us, and based upon the teachings from the sutras as far as his translation as to what he believes came from Patanjali. We're on chapter 2, the second Yoga Sutra in chapter 1, so it's 1-2. Yoga is the neutralization of the vortices of feeling. And when we talk about a vritti, or an eddy, or a vortex, it's basically just a whirlpool. Our desires and our attachments do not make things happen. It's a current that, it's more like a current that draws things to our being. So the more I think about, boy, I want a popsicle. Boy, I want a popsicle. Boy, it's hot out today and I really want a popsicle. And the next thing you know, I'm in my car and I'm driving up to the corner and I'm at Neighbor's and I'm getting a popsicle. And I leave Neighbor's store and I have my popsicle. That was because of the whirlpool, of the continuation of my desire and my attachment to having the popsicle. We revolve around our desire, our egos, as if we're in that whirlpool or in that vortex. We constantly manipulate what it is we want, what our desires are, and we bring that to fruition through our actions based upon what we're contemplating that we have to have. Vrittis, eddies, vortices are all up and down our spine, and that's according to the level of consciousness that we associate with them. Our desires have their center in the lower base of our spine, and spiritually uplifting impulses are centered up in the higher chakras. So they make reference in Sutra 1-2 about the Bhagavad Gita, which is also something that we'll get into at another time. And what they talk about is the struggle between the upward and the downward, the tendencies on our own nature that we struggle with things up and down. As long as we're pulled in both directions, we're inwardly divided, we can never know true peace. So if I let go of I want the popsicle, boy, it's hot out, boy, I need the popsicle, gotta go get the popsicle, gotta get my keys, gotta get my wallet, gotta get my car and get my popsicle. If I let go of the attachment of this vortice, of this vritti that I need to have a popsicle, and I focus on telling myself, well, maybe tomorrow it's going to be cooler. Well, I'll go inside and turn the fan on. It will be cooler. I don't need the popsicle, So if I don't focus on this thing, then I'm not going to be pushing and pulling the internal conflict to getting in the car, getting the keys, getting in the car, getting the popsicle. That's just an oversimplified example. Of course, we struggle with much stronger topics, each one of us. And some struggles end up making changes in our lives, some for the better and some not so good. We talk in Yoga Sutra 1-2 about if we find God first, if we find God, we must direct all of our tendencies in one direction. Freud talked about our lower tendencies. He talked about going after our desires. The truth is we'll never find this peace, and we talked about that in the first sutra too. We'll never find true peace if we do not look for a higher nature. So maybe you were involved in some type of spiritual search at one point, and then, or maybe you were dragged to church, I'll give another example, or you feel you were dragged to church. And so you lost your way, and as an adult, you do everything you can to avoid being part of a community or part of a church. So how is one in that situation going to trust that they even want to find a higher power? We look at Yoga Sutra, page 18 in the book. It must be mentioned here that there are two stages of sadhamahai. The first one is the state in which the ego says, "It is I who have attained this state." There remains in the thought that some danger of arrogance is there. In emerging from the lower sadhamahai, one may exclaim, "I am past all of these obstacles. I have reached perfection." As long as the thought "I" remains, "I, John Roberts," they use an example, or "I, Shirley Robbins," remains, if you say "I," then one is not free. You're truly still attached. Only when the soul can say, "There is no John or Shirley to return to. Everything is God," can one say with sincere truthfulness, "I am truly free." For the I then will have become identified with the Absolute Spirit. This is the final state of enlightenment, and this is known as Nirbari Kapali Sadhamahai. So, even from that state, one must still dismiss the memory of past incarnations. They say John or Shirley, or the American homeowner, the banker, the giver to charities. What to speak of John the pirate and Shirley the shoplifter, and the countless lifetimes we have all lived worldly lives in both male and female bodies. And to see all these as only God, acting those parts through our physical vehicles. Only when we have released all those memories into God can we pass beyond the state of freed while living, and pass into the state of complete liberation, moksha. Needless to say, this final state is reached by very few people living on this earthly existence. So, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, now obviously Patanjali did, and being a true Buddhist, that would be his thoughts. Now, put that aside, if that's not part of your belief, you can still say what to speak of the other people, what to speak to John the pirate and Shirley the shoplifter. So take the I out of the equation and become one with a higher power, and that is the lesson here. And so when we do that, we're no longer absorbed by I, Kathleen, the travel agent, mobile notary, with a husband who's a web developer. Put that aside. It is no longer of any value. I, Kathleen, the Florida beach bum. There. Let's just look at it from a different lens. So, the scriptures list 4 aspects of human consciousness. Man, mind, centered in the top of the head. Buddhi is intellect centered between the eyebrows. And Ahankara, ego, centered up top. And Chitta, feeling centered in the heart. Every desire must be neutralized. Yoga is the neutralization of every one of these little vortices. Yogananda says, desires forever gratified, never satisfied. And I'll leave you with that. Desires forever gratified, never satisfied. So maybe we need to stop seeking these things and look up to our spiritual power for guidance, for the next steps, for where we should be, what we should be doing, what we should be thinking, feeling, who we should be sharing that with. So then when we do this, things will become known to us that we can't even imagine. And I find this to be true in my life. And so sutras are very, very important in a lot of different ways. And we are very lucky that Patanjali wrote these, and he had these for us for another way to look at things. So I leave you with that. I hope you have a great week, and we will dive into Yoga Sutra number 3 on the next episode. And if you're new to us, please go back and watch some of the other videos. I think you might find them interesting on different levels. And if you have any questions, as always, we're here to answer them for you. We welcome all comments and questions. And you can join the blog at jerseyyogalicious.wordpress.com. Have a very blessed day. Namaste.